Every single day, around 83 million rolls of toilet paper are produced across the globe. It's an item we all use, yet rarely give much thought to. But have you ever stopped to wonder, how is toilet paper made? From humble beginnings in 1857, when Joseph Gaetti invented the first toilet paper, to the advanced high-tech processes used in today's factories, toilet paper has come a long way. This essential item not only plays a vital role in our daily lives, but the process of making it is far more fascinating and complex than you might think. Let's peel back the layers and uncover the story behind the roll. Step 1. Collecting the paper. It all begins with a pile of used paper, old newspapers, magazines, office paper, and even textbooks. Every day, tons of discarded paper from schools, businesses, and homes are collected and transported to the paper factory. The reason for recycling used paper is simple. It helps reduce the need for cutting down trees. This not only helps the environment, but also makes the whole process more sustainable. Once the paper arrives at the factory, it undergoes an initial sorting process. Workers and machines carefully separate the paper types, ensuring that only the cleanest, brightest, and most suitable materials are used. This is important because the quality of the raw material directly affects the end product. Office papers and magazines with glossy finishes are set aside, as they could contain chemicals or inks that could interfere with the final product's softness and quality. Only the best materials are chosen for transformation into something as essential as toilet paper. Step 2. Breaking down the paper. After the paper is sorted and stored in large bales, it's time for the real transformation to begin. These bales are fed into a huge machine called a pulper, a big industrial blender. In this machine, the paper is mixed with a huge amount of water to break it down into a mushy, fibrous pulp. Think of it like making paper soup. The pulper's job is to shred the paper, which happens when rotating blades churn the paper at high speeds, breaking it into small pieces. During this stage, the paper fibers, which are made up of cellulose, are separated and suspended in water. This pulp looks like a thick, soupy mixture. The fibers are what will eventually form the soft, absorbent sheets we know as toilet paper. Interestingly, the cellulose fibers are key to giving toilet paper its strength, so they need to be carefully separated to ensure the best texture and durability for the final product. Step 3. Cleaning the pulp. Once the paper is broken down into pulp, it's still full of impurities. These include leftover staples, plastic bits, or even ink from printed material. To get rid of these unwanted bits, the pulp is passed through a series of filters and screens. These screens are like giant strainers designed to capture particles larger than the fibers themselves. But there's a bigger issue to deal with: the ink. Recycling paper often leaves behind traces of ink, which can turn the pulp a murky color. To clean the pulp, the factory uses a special process called flotation. This is where air is bubbled through the mixture, carrying the ink particles to the surface. Special chemicals called surfactants are added to help the ink particles stick to the bubbles, which then rise and form a foam that's skimmed off. This clever technique helps remove the ink without damaging the fibers. After this, the pulp is much cleaner and ready for the next step. Step 4. Bleaching the pulp. The pulp, now free from ink and impurities, still has one big hurdle. It's grayish in color. This is because of the natural lignin, a substance found in paper that gives it a darker hue. To give the toilet paper that bright white color we all recognize, the pulp undergoes a bleaching process. Inside a large tank known as a bleach tower, the pulp is treated with special chemicals under controlled heat. This process breaks down the lignin and transforms the pulp into a much whiter, cleaner state. The chemicals used are safe, and this stage doesn't just make the paper look better, it also ensures it's soft and smooth. This whiteness is essential, not just for aesthetic reasons, but also to make sure the paper is hygienic and ready for use. Step 5. Drying and forming sheets. Once the pulp is bleached and whitened, it's time to remove as much water as possible. The pulp is spread onto a large mesh screen or plate where rollers press out the excess water, leaving behind a thin, wet sheet of paper. This process, which happens incredibly fast, is crucial for turning the pulp into a solid, firm sheet of paper. The paper that comes out is just 1/10 of a millimeter thick. At this point, the paper is still wet and flexible, but it's much closer to becoming toilet paper. Next, it enters a powerful drying machine. Hot air is blown over the paper, rapidly drying it. As the paper dries, the fibers bond together to form a sturdy sheet. The drying process is quick but effective, ensuring the paper retains its strength while becoming smooth and soft to the touch. This thin sheet of paper is what will eventually be cut, rolled, and packaged as the toilet paper we use every day. Step 6. Rolling the paper into giant rolls. Now that the paper is dry, it's time to turn it into giant rolls called parent rolls. These massive rolls can be over 75 kilometers long. At this point, the paper is still in large, unwieldy sheets. The purpose of the parent roll is to store the paper in a format that can be easily cut into smaller rolls later. Think of it as the giant canvas from which smaller, more manageable rolls will be created. Once the parent rolls are made, they're transferred to another part of the factory, where they're unwound and cut into smaller sections. These smaller rolls will eventually be turned into the toilet paper we see in our bathrooms. The next phase involves perforating the paper so that each sheet can be easily torn off when needed. Step 7. Converting into toilet paper rolls. Here's where things get interesting. The parent roll is sliced and perforated to create the classic rolls we're familiar with. The rolls are wound onto cardboard tubes, which are made by gluing together wide strips of cardboard. These tubes are essential because they help keep the toilet paper's shape and prevent it from unraveling. The paper is carefully wound onto these tubes in 2 layers, making the familiar 2-ply toilet paper. This ensures that the toilet paper is thick enough to be absorbent, while still soft and easy to use. Once the paper is wound tightly, it's cut into smaller rolls of around 10 centimeters in diameter. The cut edges are sealed with a bit of glue to ensure the roll doesn't unravel before it's used. Step 8. Packaging and distribution. Once the rolls are ready, it's time to package them for shipment. Depending on their intended use, the toilet paper may be wrapped in paper or plastic. Commercial rolls, which are typically used in public restrooms, are individually wrapped in paper to protect them. For household use, the rolls are packaged in clear plastic, with bundles ranging from 4 to 30 rolls. After packaging, the toilet paper rolls are ready to be shipped to stores around the world, ready to fulfill their essential role in homes and businesses everywhere. Thanks to modern technology and efficient manufacturing processes, what once took a long time to produce is now done in a matter of hours. And just like that, tons of recycled paper are transformed into one of the most important household essentials. So there you have it, the incredible journey of how toilet paper is made. From the careful selection of recycled materials to the cutting, perforating, and packaging stages, it's clear that a lot of thought and technology goes into creating each roll. The next time you reach for that roll of toilet paper, you'll have a whole new appreciation for the process that makes it possible. And with 83 million rolls produced each day, it's safe to say that toilet paper is truly one of the world's most essential products.